DJ,
Yes.
do you know what really boils my Milo?
Your Milo?
Milo. You don't know what Milo is?
Is that chocolate milk?
It is chocolate milk. It's very like, in South Africa, it was a big thing.
I know Milo.
Okay,
Milo.
great. I'm happy because a lot of people
I'm
don't.
cultured.
Thank you. So, do you know what really boils my Milo?
What?
Apologies. No. If you're like me, then you should hate having to make apologies too, or having to receive them. I am one of those type of people that also hates just the situation where that has to happen. I don't know, that just makes me uncomfortable. What about you?
It's an uncomfortable situation where you've done wrong or someone else has done wrong and you have to get over that.
Like when someone says sorry or you say sorry to them, it's almost like the other person who's receiving the apology is obliged to say that's okay.
Yeah. When
really
sometimes it's not okay. And, you know, when you're getting an apology, you should feel free to be like, all right, thank you for the apology, but that was still not okay.
Because
that should be acceptable.
That should be acceptable by the other person.
Right.
Giving the apology. So, anyone who knows me knows that I'm really shady and I can spew some trash and I can get in trouble. You know, I have friends that call me Poison Ivy because I'm running my mouth like it pays my bills. Now, have you ever found yourself in a situation that takes you back to when that white man and Timberland, you know, they told us that it's too late to apologize? Right? Well, I think everyone should listen on, have a drink like we are, and then, or maybe enjoy your commute and let's delve into apologies.
Apologies. Welcome to our second episode of This Is Fine. Today we are talking about non-apologies or non-apologies. Are you sorry?
Are you really sorry?
Are you really sorry? So coming to you with the turning point vibes of the beautiful earrings Gemma Chan squirrels away from her insecure mans in Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
I'm DJ.
And I'm coming to you in the spirit of Claire Hale. When she turns around and she says, I hate apologies. Now listen, let me just quickly talk about that character because she was evil as fuck.
She was conniving.
She was conniving, but
very manipulative.
I think what most people didn't realize is that we don't speak, like the regular people, don't speak in perfect grammar.
No.
Her grammar was impeccable when she spoke.
It's always perfect.
When she moved, she just, I live for Claire Underwood. Robin Wright was amazing.
I love Robin Wright. I don't love Claire Underwood.
Oh my God. I love when she became the president, that first female president, and she said that line. No, the show's
It's been out forever.
It's done. It's been out forever. But when she said that line, the first female president is not going to keep her mouth shut on the 4th of fucking July.
Ooh.
I love that. Anyway, anyone that's seen it, shout out to you.
So I feel like a lot of fake apologies or non-apologies or not apologies that we see are often like public. So you have like the public figure or like the political candidate or someone who is kind of a celebrity, kind of a public figure who is like, oh, I'm sorry that I did this thing, but their sorry isn't really genuine.
Like Ava Longoria recently. Did you see that?
I don't know about this.
Okay, so a little bit of pop culture mess. Ava Longoria had said that Latino women were basically responsible for the vote in whatever state she was in and the fact that Joe Biden had won.
Oh,
and that it wasn't black women, which really it was.
Oh.
It was black people.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking across the board, you can pretty safely say it was black women, black youth.
The way that she had phrased that, and I don't remember the specifics, was that she had negated the fact that black women did anything. Like someone said, thanks to black women. And then she said, really, it was actually Latinas who showed up. And then she said, that's not what I meant. That's not like... And then she made like a... saying what I actually meant was this.
What about Afro-Latinas?
Okay, let's not get into the whole colorism of Afro-Latinas and just Latinas in general, because I work with a Latina and she might as well be a white woman. A White Walker.
So I guess like the thing is just like when these like celebrities or when these public figures apologize, it doesn't really sound genuine or true because of how they phrase it and like the intention that seems to come from their words.
And also like justifying just shitty behavior and
Right.
shitty words.
So adding like, oh, I'm sorry if what I did offended people, or like, I'm sorry, but, and then adding these excuses, or saying like, oh, that wasn't what I meant. What I wanted to do was blah, blah, blah. So negating essentially the whole apology by trying to put up these excuses and put up these defenses for yourself.
Exactly. Like people hate on me for being a grammar Nazi, and I am. I am by no means perfect at speaking or anything, but what I do know is my grammar. And when it comes down to the actual facts, the actual science of it, when you say I'm sorry, but you are,
It means you don't mean what you said before.
it doesn't
the
mean
but.
that you're sorry.
Yeah.
Because you said I'm sorry, but, so then you're not at all. And that's a fake apology that drives me up the fucking wall. I could literally bounce off these walls now thinking about the moments that people have said, I'm sorry, but like I once had this conversation with, I don't know, a colleague of mine long time ago. And she said like she had a fight with her boyfriend and they were apologizing, whatever. And then she was explaining her apology saying, I'm sorry, but you did this and that and that. And I said, well, then you're not sorry. She goes, no, but he needs to know what he did wrong. I'm like, why does he need to know? Why does he need to be reminded of what he did wrong when you are sorry? You need to be sorry because of what you did.
Exactly.
Like what you feel the thing is that you're sorry
The
about.
sorry should be its own thing.
Should be its own thing. Anyway, yeah, so like that's saying sorry. You need to be sorry just because you feel sorry, because you recognize that the words that came out of your mouth were shitty words, no matter, like not even taking into account what the other person had said, because I believe at the end of the day, you are responsible and you control the things that come out of your mouth.
No, and I think with actions or with like things that you say to other people that you apologize for, you should know already yourself whether what you did or what you said is something that is worth apologizing for. And if you think that it is, then apologize for that and then don't try to minimize what you did.
Don't minimize what you did behind an apology, because then it's not an apology. It is you trying to excuse your shitty
Right.
behavior.
And I think an apology in some ways is kind of you admitting what you've done and, you know, being sorry for it and expressing regret for doing that. And then it's also an opportunity for the other person to like accept the apology and be like, that was not okay, but I still value our friendship or our relationship more. So I hope you don't do that. Let's grow
Exactly.
from this. Yeah.
An apology should be, that reminded me, an apology should be your effort to repair the damage that you have
Yes.
done in your friendship, in your relationship, because you want to be friends with this person, or you want to be comfortable with them
Yeah.
again. It should come because of that, not because you're trying to excuse your bad behavior.
Right. It shouldn't just be this kind of obligatory thing that you do in order to maintain some sense of normalcy.
Absolutely. Or like I try to remind myself that we are all the villain, someone else's villain. We're all the villain in
Right.
someone else's story. So it is possible for us to do bad things. We're all capable of that. If it is a human experience, it cannot be alien to us. We can do that. Maya Angelou quoted someone else when she said that. And, well, not exactly verbatim, but honestly, you are capable of being the bad guy in someone else's story.
And I think that's true for like even people that are closest to us.
Oh, especially the people that are
Yeah.
closest to us.
There's
Like,
so much potential for like hurt and
yeah, because they know you.
Trauma.
They like subconsciously, they know which buttons to press that
Right.
will hurt you because you've been vulnerable with them
And
at some
so-
level.
And so like maybe they don't do something intentionally or they don't say something knowing what will follow, but if that has ever been the situation, I think the right move is just to apologize and be very straightforward about it and not to try and give your own reasonings, at least immediately, about
At least, yeah.
about like why did I do this thing or why did I say this thing. Like leave the apology first and then maybe later on you get another chance to be like, hey, do you want to go out for drinks and we can talk about this more?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, I really think it's very mature to approach a situation like that. A lot of people don't think that, or don't realize that your words have power. They mean things.
Words mean things.
And
words mean everything.
Words mean everything. At the end of the day, if you can say sorry and not, and or at least suppress or fight the urge to excuse your behavior, I think that's a good day for your soul.
I think it is. And I think a lot of times when people have that urge to kind of fake apologize or non-apologize, where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, but, I was going through a hard time, or I'm sorry, but I didn't mean it this way. It comes from more of a place of like insecurity or possibly
Ignorance.
Ignorance, right. So like just not wanting to feel like, oh, if I apologize for this and I don't try to explain myself, then that means that I was the bad friend and like this relationship is unsafable.
And people need to actually understand that, hey, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Sometimes you are a bad friend.
Sometimes you are, and that doesn't mean that you're always a bad friend.
Exactly. Like, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. I keep saying this and I keep teaching this to my students. Being wrong is not the end of the world. But the thing is, we get, like, since childhood, we get taught, no,
we're
that's
afraid
wrong.
to be wrong.
You get taught, you internalize that fear of being wrong. When being wrong is literally just the process of, I don't know, becoming a good human being. Like, you can't be wrong and not understand what it is that makes something wrong.
Like, you can't never be wrong and then understand how that would impact someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are wrong, but they just can't see it. Donald Trump.
They try not to see it.
Or it's just ignorant to it. Like, people honestly have, and I think that has something to do with our brains. I've read this amongst many, or like heard it amongst many things that I listen to and read to about the brain. And the brain has this automatic like error protection. Like, when there's something wrong, you can't see it. Like, it's not even, it's a part of you purposefully doing it, but it's also like built into your psychology where it kind of protects itself from errors, I think. Does that make sense?
Like error blindness or something? I think I've read something similar.
Yes, exactly. And I have...
We ignore like the different little parts of the story that don't add up, or we ignore inconsistencies.
Exactly.
In order to make things more comfortable for ourselves.
Because it really is very, very deeply uncomfortable to sit with yourself going, oh shit, that was a shitty thing to do.
Cognitive dissonance is no joke.
Just like thinking about it now, it makes my heart, my solar plexus like heavy, thinking of all the times that the things that I've done to people that have been horrible, and just being empathetic and realizing that, oh shit, like I really caused them pain, you know?
I think that's another motivation, like a common motivation for why people apologize the way they do, like badly. Bad apologies, fake apologies, is because it's not nice to think about how you've hurt someone else.
It really isn't. It's really uncomfortable.
I feel like for normal people, like we all know what it feels like to be hurt or to be upset or to be offended by someone else or someone's actions. And so having to confront the thought that, oh, I did that to someone else and now they're upset with me is just very like uncomfortable and sometimes frightening.
Exactly. And so what you're doing when you say, I'm sorry, but like...
Right.
Because you feel uncomfortable, because you want to protect yourself.
Or you're trying to minimize that.
You're trying to minimize your feeling, but what you don't realize, what is actually happening, or what's happening for the other person, is that you are invalidating their hurt, their pain, that your words had caused.
Exactly. You're just making it worse when it would probably be more productive to just straightforward apologize and try to repair that damage, not to worsen it.
If you really, really, from the bottom of your heart, actually want to repair it, then you would take some time, be reflective, look at yourself, metacognition. Thank you, Jane. And you would see, oh shit, that was horrible. Now I actually want to play something and like be like a perfect example of what a horrible apology is.
Oh no.
So this thing happened somewhere in the States, obviously. And obviously, a white man was involved. So there was a woman and her 2 daughters who had come to a grocery store or whatever store. And they had got to the counter and they were buying sanitary pads. Okay. And then the guy says, do you want a bag? Like a plastic bag? And they go, yes, please. And then he says something about like, yeah, what would the neighbors think?
What?
Now, these girls, it's the first time they're having like, that's like the first experience with having their menstruation
Whether or
menstruation
not that's
cycle.
their first experience with a period, the fact that this cashier man asked
that.
if they wanted a bag and then said, "Oh yeah, well, what the neighbors think."
What if they saw the what
That's
the fuck is
unacceptable.
wrong with
Like half of the population uses pads or some form of sanitary item.
you? Oh, now I'm gonna play the video.
Play the clip.
I don't want to play it, but like the dad came back and he was like talking to this guy, and I just want to give you an example of a horrible
apology
by a white man.
And I'm not cool with it. My daughters are embarrassed, crying. My wife is embarrassed. I'm not all right with it, man. Keep your fucking mouth shut at work. Quit cracking jokes. I come in here all the time, man. You're always running your mouth, dude. It ain't cool. Keep your mouth shut and do your job. You ain't nobody's friend. You're here to check people out, give them their stuff, give them their change, give them their receipt, and let them go about their business. Nobody has time for all your other shit. You understand?
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I'm sorry that you feel that way. He's not even sorry. He's just sorry that
You're not sorry.
Ooh.
Like ignoring the kind of undertones of classism there with like the just, keep your mouth shut and do your job. Like, I'm sorry that you feel that way is such a bad way to apologize, because it just makes it puts the onus on like the person's feelings. Like, if you weren't butthurt about this, then it wouldn't be something to apologize about. That's
exactly
what that tells the person receiving the apology.
But honestly, the way that he said, I'm sorry that you feel that way, just means that he doesn't understand why he needs to be sorry. But pulling back to what you just said a little while ago, saying like the classism thing.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, if you don't have something nice to say, then keep your fucking mouth shut.
No.
So I think that guy is completely validated.
And that's totally
in
a
saying that.
very like risky, like problematic, inappropriate thing to say at work.
Absolutely inappropriate. And to say that to women, like when I see men doing that, and it's, I don't know, in my experience, it's mostly white men. This guy, like, you can just imagine from his voice and how he speaks that he doesn't respect his mama. And that is most of, like, men speak like that. And me, like, being a gay man, I was privy to, like, wanting to be straight so much, like, when I was younger. And you're in this conversation with these guys, and the way that they talk about women made me deeply uncomfortable. Where recently I had seen a woman on Twitter like say something about how horrible it is that men talk about women in a certain way. And I said, I remember being young and like being amongst men and like talking, like hearing the way that they talk and feeling deeply uncomfortable. Like when men talk a certain way about people or about women specifically, it's like, dude, your mom is a woman. Like, your sister is a woman.
The thing I've heard so much in that context is, oh, I'm sorry, it was a joke. Well, jokes are supposed to be funny.
Jokes are supposed to be funny for everyone. It's not supposed to be malicious and like hurt other people.
If you're punching down, it's not really a joke. It's like, or it's not a smart joke. It's just you siding with social norms and oppression and being like, haha, that's not me though.
That's me, exactly. And then like a lot of people, obviously women, black women, loved what my response was. But at this point, no one had known that I was gay. And then this guy pipes out about like I'm an SIMP, which I figured out later. What is that called? Like, do you know what it is?
Simp shit.
Simp, yeah. like a guy standing up for women when they're not asked or something. What is that?
I feel like there's a lot of like nuance to or like connotations to that, where it's basically like the so-called like Reddit like beta males that are just like flattering women to try to get laid.
Oh my god.
That there's that kind of connotation where it's like guys that like overly compliment women or like are too quote too nice.
Oh my god.
In order to, like get what they want.
That wasn't even what I was doing.
Exactly. But the places that it's applied are just so funny to me, because it's like, this is just basic human decency and you're calling it simp shit.
And honestly, I didn't understand where this guy was coming from. So just because I was standing up for a woman, which I don't think there's anything wrong. Actually, I wasn't standing up for women. I was agreeing. I was like giving an example from a male perspective. And then this guy decided to call me that, and I've never heard of that before. But I'm just like, and then I'd researched it. I was like, oh, look at this guy. I'm out here a whole entire complete gay person, and this guy's calling me a simp. Like, and then his response was like, I should have known. Like when you said I felt uncomfortable that way you were on some gay shit. I was like, oh my god. My only response was, oh hey, homophobia in 2020. How original.
So creative.
What is that phrase Meryl Streep says? Florals for spring. Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking.
But yeah, so this white guy saying sorry, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Ooh, that made me so angry
That's
today.
not even, like, just looking at that sentence, that's not even an apology for your statement or for your actions. It's saying sorry that you feel that way.
And listening to the tone of his voice, he was obviously very defensive. Like he doesn't understand like why this person is attacking him, and rightfully so. Like he doesn't understand like the trauma that you're causing to women, and actually no, the woman, and the shame and embarrassment that your comments are on these impressionable young girls who already receive a lot of like heteronormative bullshit from society and from like the lives that they live already. Just being a woman in today's world is a shitty thing by itself already. And then to have someone like that probably has never, I don't know, even kissed a woman, or is probably still in his mom's basement playing some online game and being a troll, or being a Reddit. No, actually, no, nothing's wrong with
like
Reddit.
whether or not he could be married and he could still be like that. I think it's not limited to like the stereotypical neckbeard image, but there are so many mixed messages about being a woman in 2020, in the modern age, whatever you want to call it, where it's like you're supposed to be sexualized to a certain degree, but then like actual sexual functions, like biological functions, are somehow gross.
Why? When you literally probably don't even wash your penis.
Wash your hands and wash your dick, please.
Also, guys, you need to learn to wipe after peeing. No one wants a urine stain smell from your underwear. Just don't. It's gross. So, I recently had someone like berate me for something that person had felt was very unfair, and the way that I had said certain things was absolutely a dick move to do. And in the context, I also believe that I was justified in what I wanted to say, because they were behaving in a manner that wasn't professional, and I called them out on it.
And this was at work.
And this was at work, yeah.
Uh-huh.
People at work don't understand professionalism, so most people I work with just haven't ever been in a professional environment like I have been.
Uh-huh.
So I was forcing what I had thought was professionalism onto them when nobody cared, and so that was where I was wrong. They didn't understand. And that's where I was very, very wrong in the way that I had approached the situation. And so this person like called me an asshole in front of everyone and then said sorry. But saying sorry doesn't mean that it negates the fact that you called me an asshole in front of everyone. And I didn't respond. I was just like, why is she yelling at me?
No, I think people think that sorry is this magic word, and you know, it's halfway true. You know, like you can't have an apology without saying sorry, but there should be some further remorse and like further explanation of like you showing that you understand why you should be sorry and why you are sorry. Yeah,
that there is absolutely no excuse for calling someone, for belittling or demeaning someone. Yeah. And I do have to add that the way that I spoke was never belittling or demeaning that person. Right. It was never like I'm bringing them down. I was just using logic to go like, this is unnecessary or whatever. And they just hadn't liked that, and they perceived that as very attacking defensively. Them. And again, see, the way that I am phrasing my words now is around the fact that I was innocent, and I was not innocent. And so that way of talking can definitely be a wrong apology. So I think a better apology for me would be like, I recognize that what I had said had hurt you, and it was incorrect of me to speak to you into this manner, and I will try to be better and not talk to you that way and find a better way to communicate with you.
Yeah, no, I think that's, you know, all of the components of a good apology. You say you're sorry about what and why you're sorry and some kind of indication of how you're going to change or how you won't repeat the mistake.
Thank you. Some indication that you actually value the relationship or that you understand that what you had done was actually a horrible thing.
Yeah, and so like your coworker's or apology could have been more like, I'm sorry I called you an asshole. That was very, unprofessional of me, and also in a public setting, very demeaning and kind of disrespectful of your position at the school.
Yeah.
And in the future, I will contain my personal outbursts and try to communicate with you in a healthier way.
See, that's an example of a great apology.
Great.
Now, see, the way that I had just like phrased the story where I made myself as like the victim or like the hero, like that was an unconscious thing that happens. Like it happens naturally where you want to protect yourself. And
it's the same reason that people give fake apologies, though.
Exactly.
You just want to protect yourself from the idea that you're not the greatest friend or you're not a perfect person.
Yeah. And let me just put it this way. There's a phrase that I had heard or read somewhere that said, a good day for the ego is a bad day for the soul.
Oh.
Right?
That hits so deep.
So I think this is a good way to wrap up our show, is to drop you with that little quote that hits so deep, right, DJ?
Aww.
What do you think?
I feel like we should all learn to apologize better and be more considerate. Like, don't, a good day for the ego is a bad day for the ego?
A good day for the ego is a bad day for the soul.
Yes.
Or you could turn it around saying a bad day for the, or a good day, no, a bad day for the soul is a good day for the ego. Yeah. Yeah. I was just syntaxing there. Syntaxing is not a verb. But yeah, guys, that was our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.